All right, and there we are. And a pleasant good morning to you from Tony'sPicks.com. This is Ramon Scott, and welcome to Night Moves here on the Tony's Picks YouTube channel. As we get ready for the action here on Monday. Happy holiday here to you, Indigenous Persons Day, Columbus Day. I think it's still fair to say here in the United States, I think, in this year. So thank you for joining me. We got a great day of sports betting action because we've got day games in sports, period. NHL starts off early because of the holiday. We got a late afternoon baseball game here as well. So we got sports all day and all night as well. Big NHL card. We got 10 games to look at, 2 Major League Baseball. And hey, there's even a Columbus Day game in Canada. Here today with Ottawa and Montreal, some NBA preseason as well. Man, DeAndre gave us those winners yesterday. I felt like I pressured him into it, and he delivered. So, well, thank everybody in the chat. Good to see you folks. Hope you had a great day. Mr. G needs a winner. Don't we all? Mr. G and T Money is here as well today. Thank you guys for joining me here on the show. Man, what a day it was. There on Sunday in the NFL, and I brought home some winners here on Tony'sPicks.com yesterday, bringing home a few dubs in the action. We got to start it off early, didn't we, with the Broncos taking on the Jets there yesterday with that early game, and man, the Jets practically set a new record for futility in that game. A really, really worrisome performance for sure from the Jets. No doubt about it, considering what we saw. Man, record worst offense is, I guess, the only way I can call it with that game. Man, it was just really bad. 13-11, Broncos over the Jets. Jets are 0-6. The losses, 4 losses by 6 or fewer points, but another loss, and the Jets had 82 yards in 57 plays. I mean, this is it sounds like a high school game. It really does. Those are pitiful numbers for sure. But hey, we had the winner here last night with the Jets. We had plenty of winners for you here on the show, didn't we? Gave you the Steelers yesterday minus the points against the Browns. Rodgers, couple of touchdown passes, and 2 TDs. You guys mentioned it in the chat. I think Tomlin off of a bye, right? He's real solid in that category, and Cleveland just doesn't function very well there. And also brought you more picks with Arizona Cardinals on the road. They got it done there as well, getting those big points from Indianapolis. A little bit of a bummer there with Marvin Harrison getting that concussion. Hopefully he'll be able to recover from it. I think I said Columbus Day earlier. I know it's Thanksgiving Day. It's Thanksgiving in Canada, so happy Thanksgiving to our Canadian viewers. Want to make sure I get that right. Indigenous Peoples Day, and who knows what holiday it is. I'm just glad we got some daytime sports here for sure. Yeah, I had a winner over at Tony's Picks last night with one of my premium selections, the Rams over the Ravens. Maybe it wasn't easy, maybe it wasn't pretty, but even without Nakua in the game there, he did play half a dozen snaps in the second half, but did come through the Rams as a premium play for me there. Also had a premium with Seattle and Jacksonville game to go under at a premium right here at Tony's Picks in that one, as well as Seahawks got the 20-12 victory over Jacksonville. I'm not calling Jacksonville a fraud. I'm just saying maybe the Seahawks are a little bit better than Jacksonville. JSN, big game there, 8 receptions, 162 yards, and a touchdown. And Seattle's averaging 30 points a game in their last 5 games with 4 wins. And they're 3-0 on the road. That is a sign of a good team. I don't have to tell you that. In fact, they've won their last 9 road games. Have the Seahawks. They don't need the 12s, and still they still get on. One thing I know interesting to note also that Seattle is 22-6 in their last 28 games. It's kind of affiliated with this road streak there, but 22-6 in their last 28 games on the early 1 p.m. Eastern kickoffs. I don't know if that's something or not, but man. Hey, DeAndre brought us the winner there yesterday with Carolina over Dallas. Nice job. I went with them as well on the show last night, and Carolina did the job. Last chance touchdown there for Carolina to get that win. Nice job. Dowdle, 239 yards and a touchdown. Is he the best running back in the game right now? We're racking up 200-yard games so far. Carolina, they're a total home road team right now, 3-0 at home, 0-3 on the road. Dallas, only 31 yards rushing on 19 carries, and Dowdle was running all over the Cowboys today. And he said, they're talking about a revenge game. That was it for Dowdle. Okay, and also, my Chargers beat the Dolphins 29-27 there. Just interesting to note, a little bit of more controversy coming out of Miami. You wonder if Coach McDaniel will be able to keep his job. I sure hope so, but Tua throwing teammates, I don't think he's throwing them under the bus. He's calling it like it is. If they're not showing up to those meetings, that's just bad news. Chargers won the game with a field goal with 5 seconds left as they outscored Miami 16-14 in the second half, or I'm sorry, 20-14 in the second half to get that win there. Miami, they're allowing over 30 points per game, 3 interceptions for Tua. So he'll be done after this season, I think. There. Okay, had a winner here on the show last night with the over in the game between San Francisco and Tampa Bay in the marquee matchup, won by the Bucs yesterday as Baker Mayfield had a couple of touchdown passes, and 49ers in the second half couldn't even get 100 yards, so they can't run the ball even with McCaffrey. Everybody keeps reaching for McCaffrey and says at least they got McCaffrey, and I know that they throw the ball to him a little bit, and he's awesome, but the Bucs won and covered. Yesterday we had the over, and bummer, Fred Warner is out for the season with that broken ankle. Man, that Tampa Bay's in trouble. They're 4-2, but the injuries have taken their toll. I'm not sure that the line will probably reflect it, but man, you might think that considering they're the 49ers and great team to even be up here at 4-2 right now, but they are injured big time moving forward. I guess that's how I'd put it. Raiders, we had them here on Night Moves last night, said it was good enough to lay the points with the Raiders, and it sure was. The Raiders really did club the Titans there. The Titans can't do anything with their rookie quarterback in there. Raiders led 10-0 at halftime, and they snapped a 4-game losing streak and covered a spread. Last 3 years, the Raiders 11-4 as a home favorite. I guess when they're favored, you take them there. They only had 68 yards rushing as well. Tennessee's 1-5 straight up and against the spread. Also, here on Night Moves, we did give you the under in the game between the Patriots and the Saints. It did stay under with that 44 there yesterday in that one, and it was the Patriots in a confident victory, but we did have the under here on the show yesterday. And also late night, how about it? Detroit and Kansas City game, the big one of the night, and it was the Chiefs over the Lions, 30-17. Chiefs led at halftime, 13-10. Kansas City, you know how many times they were penalized? 0 penalties. You're going to win when you have 0 penalties, right? Chiefs outgained them 350-300, and Lions, they put up plenty of points when they win, not so much when they lose. Say hello to some folks in the chat. We'll get started with a few previews here today. And let's see here. There's Trans-Canada in the chat. Ron Young's ready for some Thanksgiving. I'll join you guys there. And Man, the firings are coming big time here with hey, good luck to you, Penn State. Look, I get it. Franklin, maybe he's overstayed his welcome or whatever. I mean, you're Penn State, man, and you've had some problems over the years with your coaches, with the football program. This guy brought some real stability here to the Penn State, winning 2/3 of his games. Just be careful what you wish for, Penn State, or what you're going to get into. I mean, you could do worse than James Franklin. I know, hey, look, they lost to UCLA. UCLA's looking pretty good. Yeah, I understand the game, 3 games, losing 3 games, that's not right if you're Penn State. But uh, not saying that Penn State had ever went totally south, right? But I don't know. It just seems like you look at the candidates they're talking about for that job, and I don't think any of them are, maybe better than Franklin, especially when he was our buddy, always covering the spread in the years past. Maybe that hasn't been happening enough for the donors there. So you can see that firing yesterday. Also, my man Trent Dilfer got fired there from UAB. Hope they don't clean house there, but they might. I know they were bad in that game. They lost 53-33, and they're absolutely dreadful. So I get it. And some other dismissals as well. And will there be more in the morning in the NFL? Will we see McDaniel go? Will Stefanski go? They put these coaches in tough positions with bad teams, just setting them up for disaster. All right, Major League Baseball last night with Seattle and Toronto. And what a game for Seattle. A lot of people, it's hard to come in on Seattle. I know I came with them on the run line there, but still here on the Night Move show yesterday, we took them on the run line, but they did get it done with the win yesterday, despite all that talk there, if you will, about the 15-inning game and what would they do with their pitching staff. But Mariners get the upset road win 3-1. George Springer hit a home run on the first pitch of the game. Well, at least the Jays' first pitch when they were at bat as a home team. But they got only one hit after that. Cal Raleigh tied the game with a solo home run. Jorge Polanco had a couple of RBI singles for the big hits. The Mariners pitching, maligned here on some of the shows, retired 23 of the last 24 hitters in the game, and we'll have game 2 today here. Bryce Miller was strong. I actually faded him and went under his outs proposition, but man, what a performance. 6 innings, 1 run, 2 hits. Great job. And we'll talk Dodger baseball as well as they get ready for game 1 here in the playoffs. And we saw Tanner Scott will be put on the injured list with an emergency surgery on an abscess infection, and he'll miss the entire National League Championship Series. All right, and there was one hockey game. It was Capitals over the Rangers 1-0 yesterday. I believe it turned out to be a battle of backup goaltenders getting their first starts there yesterday, but still end up 1-0 with Lindgren and Quick, I believe, got the starts there in that one. All right, we're going to get to the previews here now. Thank you again for joining us. Got a couple dozen of you in here. So, right, Daryl, right, hey, maybe standards are high at Penn State. We know they are. But this guy brought you, remember, I'm not going all the way back to the Paterno days and what happened with but there were other things that had come about, right, over the last few years as well. So look at Daryl says, get rid of Harbaugh. I don't know about that either. I don't know, Daryl. And he does like the Mariners to win it all. Man, wouldn't it be great? Mariners deserve a World Series championship, but we know Toronto, they'll be rooting here on Thanksgiving for their team as well. But yeah, Seattle hasn't won the World Series yet. All right, this year or any year for that matter. A couple of NFL games tonight we'll talk about as well. I think I talked about them all except for the Bengals and the Packers, which wasn't very eventful there, but the Packers did get the win. They did not cover there yesterday. All right, let's go to the games. Why not? Here, you guys are gathered in here with me on Night Moves here on the Tony's Picks YouTube channel, so why wait any longer? And let's go to the previews of the games. And you got to start in the major leagues, don't you? uh, here on the holiday. Yeah, we got some football tonight, but we also have Major League Baseball. Let's go to the games here right now with our first game, the day game. Here in this one with the Mariners back at it here, taking on the Blue Jays with Logan Gilbert on the mound here for Seattle and Trey Yesovich on the mound for the Blue Jays. And he's been good, this rookie. But, funny how it's worked out this season. We've seen some rookie pitchers in here a little bit, and usually you really got to be outstanding. And Yesovich was totally outstanding in, when he was mowing them down, and maybe a little bit of a surprise there in that first outing of his career here. But man, all of a sudden you're starting game 2 of the American League Championship Series. I mean, I know that, we're in bullpen days here. This is how it works now in Major League Baseball, but the Mariners still going Logan Gilbert here with a 3.3 ERA, 102 whip, 7-6 record. Mariners went 16-10 with Gilbert on the mound this season, 210 batting average against and a 279 BABIP for Yesovich. Yes, a 2-0 record, and the Blue Jays have won all 4 of his starts. But could there be some rookie jitters anyway? 2.33 ERA, 108 whip. I mean, he's right on target with Gilbert here as far as, yes, I understand limited sample size here with 4 starts, but a 181 batting average against. So, he's been very, very good. I think the bullpens are a little bit settled out right now, especially with the fine performances yesterday of Gausman, who looked pretty good. And they, went a good number of innings, it felt like, in the game to kind of at least stabilize things as well for the Mariners here. But Mariners continue to struggle a little bit with their bats in the playoffs, but they did come through thanks to the pitching there yesterday. And Toronto here still hitting pretty well. But I have concerns with starting a rookie in basically his 5th major league start against a veteran like Gilbert here in this one. And I'm going to go back to the well with Seattle in this game. It just seems a little bit bizarre. Blue Jays have some, I don't want to say other pitchers available, other relievers, because obviously with Yesovich, he can go, proven here right now that he can put some innings together. He's not a 1 or 2 inning pitcher, I don't think, for sure in this spot. Meanwhile, for Gilbert, I mean, this veteran pitcher for sure. We know at least, I think, what we're going to get, from him here in this spot. I just think that the Seattle Mariners are set up a little bit better right now. I love this Blue Jays offense, man. They are clutch, no doubt about it. But they weren't on Sunday, so I do have concerns there after getting the 1-0 lead, and they couldn't get anything going. In fact, I thought after that first bomb, I thought, here we go, but that wasn't necessarily the case. Now, Gilbert doesn't have the best numbers against these Toronto bats. That's for sure. Gilbert is allowing a 3.02 average, 4 home runs in 96 at-bats, and an 885 OPS against this lineup. Alejandro Kirk has a couple of doubles against him. Vladdy's 6 for 15 with 2 home runs. Santander 3 for 9. Springer has a home run as well off of Logan Gilbert. Yesovich has not faced Seattle, but Gilbert does own the matchup here with a couple of other guys in the lineup there, but talking about the top of the lineup with those other guys. But still, for me, I'm going to take Seattle. I think that starting pitching advantage lies in their court, and we'll see. If the rookie comes through, that will be absolutely terrific for Toronto. Maybe more so the offense to come through, I think, is what they'll be looking for. All right, you got it. Daryl says he thinks the Seattle Bats will come alive today. And the Blue Jays bat. Daryl, thank you for being the man today here with me. He says the Blue Jays bats will struggle against good pitching, and they are a streaky lineup. Oh, I think that was definitely kind of proven there yesterday. We'll say this. Toronto has still won 6 of the last 9 meetings between the two. Toronto had their winning streak at home snapped at 6 games. They're still 7-2 over their last 9 games coming in. Seattle's gone under in 5 of their last 7. 5 of the last 6 meetings between these two teams have gone under. All right. And I think that's it for that one. Let's move on here to the Dodgers taking on the Brewers. And we've got Blake Snell on the mound here for the Dodgers. And it looks like Priester here for Milwaukee today. And we'll see what kind of projection we have, if you will, from Milwaukee. Some talk that you could see Quintana in here as well today. So this is kind of what I said about Milwaukee coming in. I think the pitching is good. I know that they've had to rely on a little bit of bullpen here. That's just the way it is now in the major leagues. In fact, Priester is not even penciled in here. It feels like it's some of the books. A lot of talk that you'll see some Quintana in here as well. Snell so far here, coming into this one, 7-4 this season. The Dodgers are 9-4 with Snell on the mound, 2.18 ERA, 1.1 WHIP, 211 batting average against coming into this one. But I think the key stat you're going to hear today from a lot of the talking heads on the shows is going to be the fact that the Los Angeles Dodgers have lost 8 straight games in Milwaukee coming in. You could say that maybe in the this is the playoffs. I mean, you could maybe throw that out the window, or there could be something to it. Maybe the logistics of how they travel in, where they stay, or the time they traveled in, which wouldn't make a jump to conclusions in a playoff series where it's so important. But still, Milwaukee has won 5 straight games at home against the Brewers as well. So now there's no doubt the Dodgers are on a massive winning streak coming into the playoffs and the series. They've been winning games left and right. We know that they're still probably the favorites in here as we get started with the series in game 1 here. But there's something to be said. Milwaukee's played this team tough, and they're plus money here with a couple of decent pitchers. If Priester's in there, if Quintana's in there, Quintana has been dealing with a calf injury for the last few weeks. So if he gets in there, he has an ERA just under 4 this season. So Dodgers bats aren't exactly hot coming in, but neither are the Brewers. We've seen plenty of pitching here for Blake Snell. His last 4 starts, an ERA barely over 1 coming into this one. So he's had some very, very solid numbers. Dodgers, in these road games, these closely lined road games, usually a very low scoring game here. And we might even get that here in this one. It feels like things have calmed down a little bit. So I got to take the Brewers, though, in this one at plus money against Dodger Blue tonight. Got to be something to that streak. I think that streak has probably put me a little bit over the top here with the Brewers. Hey, Dodgers come in and win, take these guys out, 4-0, so be it. They're the Dodgers. They should win at 4-0, right? They should win every game. But I might just take a shot here with the Brewers and that 8-game winning streak against the Dodgers. All right, Daryl says Milwaukee's bullpen way better than the Dodger bullpen. I just like this Milwaukee pitching staff all year. I said it on some of the shows as well that I thought that Milwaukee's pitching it was they even when they got into a little bit of I want to say injury woes, they always had guys to back them up. And then when they brought up some of the young pitching, like we saw from Mizorowski. So Dodgers a 5.75 bullpen ERA here so far in the postseason. Milwaukee a 1.2 bullpen ERA in the postseason. So go ahead and sign me up here for the Brewers to beat Big Dodger Blue there on Monday and enjoy those games. All right. Well, we got to go to the National Football League tonight for sure. We got a doubleheader. Well, a doubleheader. We got 2 games overlapping a little bit. One starts at 7:15, the other at 8:15, but they're both East Coast games. And let's look at it with the Buffalo Bills on the road taking on the Falcons here in this one. Look, you might want to consider the Falcons a live dog, but I don't know. Sometimes, the problem when you play in I don't want to say the controlled environments a little bit, even on the outdoor games a little bit, but when you got the fake turf, and it just feels like that always kind of favors the better team, if you know what I mean. And the Bills coming in here, obviously the better team of these two, but the Falcons have certainly had their moments here, it feels like, of late, doing a pretty decent job and kind of putting things together a little bit. I mean, you got to look up at Toronto. You got to look up at Tampa Bay if you're Atlanta. So that gets pretty difficult. But they're 2-2, and they've outgained their opponent in all 4 games so far. Even their 2 losses, they outgained them by about a little more than 100 yards. So they've also held down their opponents defensively. A little bit overlooked here, but the first 4 games here, their yards allowed 260, 198, 224, 294. That's actually very, very good. Atlanta did have trouble. They did get shut out by Carolina. That was pretty rough. And yeah, maybe the schedule's been a little weak too. But right now, Atlanta coming off their bye here, they are 11-4 straight up and against the spread in post-bye games, but they usually falter badly in interconference games. Just 3-10 their last 13 against the AFC. So see what you guys have here in this one. If you guys want to take a shot with me here, you got Buffalo coming in 11-7 against the spread, last 18 games off of a loss. Bills did win their only road game so far against the Jets, 30-10. Let's see how you guys have one here. There's Daryl. He says he's on the Falcons here in this one. Bills defense has had their struggles, he said, and their offense can be kind of hot and cold. And maybe, they're right. They do use that home field, even if it's not frigid out there yet. Like I said, we are I think the controlled environment actually favors the Bills here. I'm taking them. Maybe on the square side a little bit here. Just going to lay these points on the road against Atlanta. I don't mind Atlanta. I think I've talked about Atlanta here a little bit, but I'm going to have to take the Bills in this one and lay 4. Seeing some 3.5s out there right now. I'll leave it at 4. Grade me at 4 here, but look, I think Atlanta, you talk about the defense, I think that Atlanta couldn't get their share of points, and maybe that will open up a little bit of a chance for the back door for Atlanta here, but I'm going to take the Bills in a confident victory here in this one. Ron Young's in the chat, and he likes the under in this one. Let's move on here to another good one with the Bears taking on the Commanders here, and that's good to see with the young quarterbacking matchup here of Caleb Williams and Jalen Daniels in there. I guess it's almost as good as Allen and Penix, or is it? Penix was the fall guy here in this group of 4. Coming into this one, you got Washington here just kind of getting healthy, it feels like a little bit with Daniels had missed some time obviously here, but still, right now, Washington 2-0 at home. They've looked pretty good in those games. They beat up on the Giants. They beat up on the Raiders. Okay, I get it. That's what happens. But Washington looked pretty good in that win against the Chargers last week, averaging 8.5 yards per attempt through the air in the 27-10 win. And Commanders have been scoring points for sure. Last 3 games, averaging over 30 points a game. Under Dan Quinn, the Commanders are 8-2 against the spread as a home favorite coming in. And Washington's kind of owned this series a little bit, and with these semi-frequent opponents, they've won 9 of the last 11, although it is just 2-2 in the last 4 meetings. There is a little sidebar to this one. Ben Johnson did interview for the Washington coaching job in the spring of 2024, but pulled out that year to stay on with Detroit at that time, and then before taking the job here with the Bears. So Bears have won their last 2 games with a pretty good offense in those, and the Bears are pretty opportunistic when they win the turnover battle, as many teams do. They usually get the win. Caleb Williams still just 7-14 as a pro quarterback, and Chicago 12-21, last 33 ATS as a road underdog. Chicago has never been good off of a bye, but we got a little bit of a different regime here. Last 7 years, Chicago 1-10 straight up, 3-8 against the spread, coming in off of the bye. So if you guys have something, let me know in this one with Bears taking on the Commanders here in this one. Still, Chicago's lost 12 of their last 15 games. Going back to last year, Washington's covered 5 straight games at home right now. 5 of the last 7 meetings between the two teams have gone over. And 4 of the last 5 meetings between the two teams here in Washington have gone over, and Chicago's gone over so far as well in 4 of their last 5, or 3 of their 4 this. I think that's more apt to say 3 of their 4 games this season. So I'm going to go over here at 49.5 on Monday night. That's going to be a lofty number, but I'm going to make my pick here on the Night Move show and go over in this one with the Bears and the Commanders. There's no doubt that Caleb Williams has found a little bit more success offensively here right now. Washington still feels like this defense is still pretty decent, but look, if they get into a little bit of a scoring contest here with Washington and some of that offensive talent that they have, I think maybe Chicago does end up contributing some to the situation. But right now the Bears have the bottom run defense in the league, I think, and Bill Merritt could be set for that big game. I think out of the props today, Bill Merritt is going to be my guy, especially with let me see what the status of Rodriguez here. He was questionable coming in with a calf injury, so that may even put more responsibility on Bill Merritt. And also Debo also came in here with a little bit of an injury tag. He's got a heel injury slowing him here right now, and of course with still missing from the lineup currently is McLaurin. So it's a tough matchup really for some of these guys like McCaffrey. Tough matchup. Also, Chris Moore, tough matchup. So you might have to look down a little bit. Maybe Daniels for his rushing yards here, but I think Bill Merritt and also Zach Ertz, who we thought he would have a big game, and he got shut out against the Chargers, basically on one target. This feels like the Zach Ertz game here on Monday night. I'd probably try to roll with Zach Ertz as my top guy. And also watch out for Jalen Lane. Did have a reception last week, and if Washington does have to go down the list, he becomes wide receiver number 3 there, and Lane could sneak in there and get some numbers in this one for the Commanders. And for Chicago, not a great matchup in my opinion for Caleb Williams. I think he will get pressured a bit. I think he will have trouble to start in the passing game, and then it'll loosen up for those guys a little bit. For DJ Moore, it's still hard to keep these guys down. Adunze as well, but I don't think they'll go off. I don't think you'll see him. If anything, I'd probably look to the number 3 receiver, Olamide Zaccheaus. His numbers seemed a little bit more achievable. I'm not doubting that the Bears can't have some offense here. I'm just comparing my opinion to the actual numbers and the props, and I think those 2 guys are a little bit too high on their numbers with Moore and Adunze. So, and maybe Zaccheaus' numbers are okay here, but field goal battle there probably at the end, even though it'll be both teams in the 20s, and we'll see. In fact, I think Chicago was possibly bringing somebody in. Maybe Jake Moody is going to be in there for Cairo Santos this week. So I think maybe better off going with Matt Gay of the Commanders. Okay, great job, you guys. Let's see what we got here. Daryl wants to take the Bears here and undecided. I would say don't fret it, Daryl. It could be kind of a wild game here. Washington has a way of keeping their opponents in the game, it feels like, even though my Chargers got beat up pretty good in that game. Didn't work out. I'll take the over in this one. All right, let's move on here, and I think we can go into the National Hockey League tonight. Pretty big card here to go on Monday, and we've got day games because of the holiday. So let's get right to it right now with the Avs here on the road. A big favorite here against the Sabres to get us going here on Monday in the NHL, and take a look at the matchup here between Colorado and Buffalo. This one is at 12:35 Eastern, 9:35 Pacific. As we get the proceedings going here in the NHL, there are, let's see here, I want to say five matinees today in the NHL. So since it's the early part of the season here, we're just kind of getting the flow with these two coming in, right? And let's go here right now with Colorado taking on Buffalo. Colorado's won 11 of the last 13 meetings between these two teams, and the overs come in 6 of the last 7 meetings between the two. So we'll see here, but we've got the goalies lined up in there. Looks like we're going to have Wedgwood and Lyon. We'll see here. I'll check on the goalies a little bit. Maybe we can see if there's updates today. I know a couple goalies were definitely confirmed in there on Monday, but not all of them here. But you do have Wedgwood and Lyon so far. Wedgwood 2-0-1, 1.95 goals against, and Lyon 0-2 with a 2.54 goals against coming in. So Colorado's been pretty dominant, pretty big line here. I don't know if I want to lay the puck line necessarily with them, but I think I can go over here. It is a 6.5 flat. I mean, right now I would looking back, I don't have time to look at even 3 or 4 days of NHL games so far, but that might be the highest total. They're 6.5 flat with the Avalanche and the Sabres, but I'm going to go over in this one. And Daryl, man, you're my guy. Daryl loves all the sports like I do. Says Sabres have looked bad so far this season, and maybe the Avs there. Yeah, Lions been okay, 92% save percentage, but I'll just go with the over with Colorado north of $1.60. The square books are even $1.70 right now. I'm not going to give you $1.70 here on Night Moves. Come on. And Buffalo not scoring there, says Ron. Going to have to take the Avs here. Next up, we've got the Predators taking on the Senators. Another big favorite here. Senators, $1.75 total. 5.5 over 25. We've seen some 6, maybe just a couple offshore 6s out there in this one, and see how this one goes with these two with Josue Saros in goal here for Nashville. He's 1-0-1 with a not 1.95 goals against, 93.5% save percentage. Done pretty good so far for Linus Ullmark, a 1-1 record with a 5 goals against, just an 80% save percentage here. But Ottawa's still a big favorite in this game, despite those atrocious numbers so far from Linus Ullmark. These two teams have gone under in 7 of their last 9 meetings against one another. So we'll see, man. Ullmark's given up some goals here big time right now, despite that kind of that head-to-head that we've seen in the series between these two teams. So I think if I'm going to, you can call it out at 6 here, I think. And even with the head-to-head, I got to go over in this one with Nashville and Ottawa today. And you go ahead and grade me at 6 under, probably 6 under 25 at least. But go ahead and grade me there on the over. 6 goals. I'm taking over to make it clear here between the Predators and the Senators, and this one goes off at 1 Eastern and 10 Pacific, as does the next one here between. Oh, let me get the play in here from Daryl. Thank you, Daryl. He's my co-host today. He likes Nashville there on the puck line, maybe taking the over. Next up, we have the Lightning here on the road, taking on the Bruins and Vasilevsky. Favorite on the road here, $1.76
Final.
over at minus 115 in this one. And for the Lightning, you got Vasilevsky going here, 0-2 with a 4.67 goals against and a 85.5% save percentage so far. For Swayman, he's 2-0 with a 1.0 goals against and a 96.5% save percentage so far coming into this one. So Lightning a big favorite, but the numbers so far with the goalies and the teams might kind of point to the Bruins. Could the Bruins turn it around this season right now? So look, this is a kind of an under series for sure between these two, but man, with the big price here, I'm going to take a shot here with Boston tonight. Look, they're off to a pretty decent start right now, and Swayman's done a nice job in here, and I'm going to try Boston here as an underdog to keep it going. Maybe this will be the spot where Tampa Bay gets it going here a little bit, but yeah, they haven't looked too good so far, and I'll try Boston at home here in a matinee. And Ron says, will the Bruins smash? Next up, you got the Jets here with Connor Hellebuck going against the Islanders and Sorokin here in this one. In fact, I think Sorokin is probably one of the few goalies that is confirmed to be in net here today. Sorokin 0-2 with a 4.21 goals against and a 0.86 save percentage for Hellebuck here. He's 1-1 with a 3.53 goals against average and a 90% save percentage. The Islanders have dominated Winnipeg for sure. They've won 9 of the last 11 meetings between the two, and also 5-0 at home against the Jets. So man, the Islanders have been dominant against them, and I'm going to go ahead and take them here. Give me the Islanders over the Jets on Monday here on Night Moves. All right, Daryl said, he's back on that Tampa Bay game, but he says maybe Tampa Bay at the price is low enough for him. Maybe just because of that slow start a little bit. Maybe that's why the Bruins are getting that attention. Okay, next up we've got the Red Wings taking on the Leafs here, and I believe this is our last matinee. It's actually a late afternoon game at 3:07 Central here with the Leafs. Oh man, up to $1.90 here, and there's a 6.5 under at minus 130. Although I would say now, yeah, that's still a fair number. I think there's a lot of six flat out there. Let me see what I have, and then we'll adjust it. Maybe we'll give me the tough line here. But Cam Talbot, he is confirmed to be in goal here for Detroit. He's 1-0 with a 2.17 goals against average and a 0.89 save percentage so far. For Stolars and the Leafs, he's 1-1 with a 303 goals against and a 90.5% save percentage thus far. But coming into this one, Toronto, they have won 13 of the last 9 meetings between these two teams. 5 straight overs here in Toronto, and I have a feeling Toronto's going to put the kibosh on them here a little bit today and maybe get a puck line win here over Detroit. Actually, there might be some goals, actually. The way I see it here, I know these numbers, these goalies are pretty fair here, it feels like so far, but I'm going to take the Maple Leafs on the puck line in this one over Detroit. I think if anything, I figure they might tack the last one on here. Actually, it may be 4 4-3, and then they get one more to 5-3. Maybe I should be going over, but I'm going to take Toronto on the puck line in this one here on Monday, and that's the afternoon games. Daryl kind of thinking the same, Leafs at home here right now. We're early in the season, so getting our skates sharpened on night moves, and let's move to the evening action here now, 7:07 Eastern Time and 4:07 out on the West Coast, but it's the Florida Panthers, it's the New Jersey Devils taking on the Blue Jackets with Markstrom here. Markstrom here. Let me fix the goalie here. There you go. And the Devils are favored on the road, actually. Minus $1.30 or so. You got Elvis here for the Blue Jackets for Markstrom. He's 1-1 with a 4.03 goals against average and an 84% save percentage in 2 starts. For Merzlikins, expected to make his second start of the year. He's 1-0 gave up 4 in his debut and 92.3 save percentage here in his first game for Elvis here. We saw the Devils favored on the road in this matchup here. New Jersey, they have won 5 of the last 6 meetings between these two teams here, but I kind of want to take the over here, but I think the Devils, this is going to be a good enough price. I'm going to take New Jersey here in this one. They've kind of owned the series, and I think with Markstrom here in goal, I think they will be able to get this one done. I'm actually going to take the Devils here on the road over the Blue Jackets in this one. Let's look next at the Panthers on the road, taking on the Flyers here with Bobrovsky in net for Florida. He's 3-0 so far with a 1.67 ERA. Florida looking terrific. No hangover. No, it's just back to business for Florida here right now. $1.45 on the road against the Flyers here in Sam Urson. 0-1 with 3.69 ERA and an 89.7 save percentage so far. Bobrovsky, 92.5% save percentage so far this season. So, man, the Panthers, unstoppable, it feels like at this point. They've also beaten Philly in 4 of the last 5 matchups between the two teams. Florida's gone over in 4 of the last 5 meetings between the two teams coming in to this one. Man, I like Florida to keep it rolling. I mean, they just seem unstoppable here right now, and I think I'll lay the puck line here with Florida today against the Flyers. Panthers to keep rolling on Monday. Okay, let's see here. We've got maybe Daryl likes the over here, or maybe that might have been the last game. Sorry, Daryl. He does say Florida's been cruising, and Ron says he likes the under at 6 goals in this one. And Trans Canada says I'm going with the value sides here. Maybe I don't know. Feels like some of these are, but Florida. I mean, I just can't not go with Florida in that game, I think. Okay, let's keep it moving right now here on Night Moves. A little more action here in the NHL with St. Louis taking on Vancouver here. Jordan Binnington makes his second start likely in the pipes. Like I said, there's only a couple of these goalies are confirmed, but we're taking our best shot. Pretty good at this usually. Binnington here, 0-1, gave up 5 goals in that first start for just a 76% save percentage for Thatcher Demko here. 1-1, but a 1.54 goals against and a 94.5% save percentage thus far for the Canucks as they come in here. St. Louis has fared very well, though, against Vancouver in the past. St. Louis actually won 4 of the last 5 meetings in the series and also 5 of the last 6 meetings here in Vancouver. St. Louis has done pretty well in this series. So maybe you could consider them here at a little plus money the way things are going right now. But I don't know. I think Demko and the Canucks looking just a little bit better. I'm going to take Vancouver here in this one at minus $1.35 or so. You know what, $1.25 offshore right now. I'm going to have to try Vancouver here. Both teams 1-1 right now, but give me the Canucks at home to kind of shed that series history, I think, between the two. It definitely favors St. Louis on the series history, but I got to go with the Canucks here. And let me at least fix that graphic a little bit. Show it again with the goalie, so it looks like every other graphic at least. There we go. Bennington for the Blues, Demko for the Canucks. All right, we got a couple of more here tonight on Monday night with the Kings on the road here and taking on the Wild and Gustafsson. Kemper expected in goal here for the Kings. Kings come into this one, 1-2. They had the great win, but for Kemper here, he's 0-2 in net so far. 3.62 goals against and an 86% save percentage for Gus in goal here. He's 1-1 with a 303 goals against and 89.5 save percentage, but he did get that shutout. And you got Minnesota here about $1.20, $1.25. And the total comes in here at 5.5. Hey, want to say hello to Z Mafia in the chat. Z Mafia is on this one here. Says what likes the Wild to win after losing at home. Wild to bounce back. Man, I don't want to see the Kings fall here to 0-3. Daryl, or 1-3. Daryl likes the over. They beat the Golden Knights that night to win their first game.
Steam play.
Right, for the Kings here in this one, Minnesota, actually has had kind of a dominance over the Kings, 13-5 in their last 18 games at home against LA. So that's been a little bit of a burden here, and I think at this price, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go ahead and take the Wild over the Kings tonight at a reasonable price. Give me Minnesota here in this one. Man, we took a lot of sides here. We need some totals here. We got one more game to look at here on Night Moves. And Daryl likes the over big time, he said there, right? All right, one more here tonight, and let's go to it with the Utah Mammoth on the road here with Vejmilka in the pipes expected against Spencer Knight. And the Blackhawks, and not the best game, but hey, want to talk about it here with Vejmilka coming in here with a 1-1 record of 1.98 goals against average, 92% save percentage for Spencer Knight, 0-2, but a 303 goals against and a 91% save percentage here. So, hey, these goaltenders I think have performed pretty admirably here thus far. In this series here, you do have 6 of the last 7 between these two teams have gone over, including 4 of the last 5 in Chicago. But I'm going to actually go under here in this one with Vejmilka and Knight and give me the under with Utah and Chicago here on Monday. That's going to do it for the hockey segment. Oh, let me get the last of the plays in here. Z Mafia. Man, we got to start. I should restart the show and get Z Mafia's plays in here. Likes the Mammoth here. They perform well away from home. And kind of like their nickname. I know we were rooting for the Yeti, but all right, Ron says leans to Chicago. And they haven't been able to crack the win column just yet. They are 0-2-1, but not a regulation win. But yeah, they have played okay for sure. And Daryl says they've been looking scrappy. Maybe they can start to put things together here a little bit. Maybe they've gotten rid of some of this organization definitely had some problems off the ice as well. So if they can get back to playing some consistent, cohesive hockey together, you always want to see the Blackhawks look pretty good. Okay, that's it for the hockey. Thank you to the chat here on Night Moves. And I think I've rounded up some NBA preseason here for us to look at today. And then we got to have the CFL on Thanksgiving, of course. All right. Let's get into it here with our NBA preview today. Like I said, we had DeAndre last night. Really gave us. Let's see if I can call out his winners again. That was a good thing yesterday. Let me get to the segment here at least. Okay, there we go. Let me look at these results from yesterday. And DeAndre's done a great job for us. He gave us Brooklyn in that early morning game yesterday. And he also gave us the Boston Celtics over Cleveland in that one. So thank you, DeAndre. Also, he gave us the Denver Nuggets in the win over the Clippers. And I think I brought us home some winners as well. Yesterday, I had Miami and Orlando over here on the show. I also had Milwaukee and Chicago over here on the show as well. I also gave out Golden State and the Laker game to go over as well. All right, so that might have been some good wins there. And it's NBA preseason, but hey, we're gonna take a look for sure until unless we get swept. Okay, we're gonna keep going here and just get ready. We're I think 7 days away or something like that. So, in fact, the game start at 6:10 Eastern and 3:10 Pacific with this one with the Heat taking on the Hawks here. And Miami 0-3 so far. Is that right? Man, they're not looking great here, averaging just 106 points per game and allowing 113 points. Meanwhile, Atlanta's 1-1. I think Atlanta, their tempo here, let's see, they're a 5.5, 6-point favorite in this one total. What do I have on screen there? 230.5, 229.5. All right, that seems, rough times here for Miami. What's going on with these two? But, I wouldn't doubt that, Miami's not going to worry about any preseason results. That's for sure. Maybe Atlanta has to be a little bit better here, and they are so far this season with a victory. But Miami 0-3 with a minus 7.7 point differential so far. And I'm going to go ahead and take the Hawks. I'll take the Hawks here on the Night Move show, lay 6 points to Miami. And let's see here. Z Mafia likes the Celtics over. He was talking about yesterday's game. Thank you. Yeah, maybe he was here with us last night. Daryl says he likes Atlanta. Heat will rest some players after playing in that game yesterday against Orlando. Great call there. Yep. All right, next up, we got the Spurs. Spurs taking on the Pacers here in Indiana. I believe let me see here. TJ McConnell has a hamstring injury, and he's going to be out here indefinitely. In fact, he's going to be questionable to make the regular season here. The Spurs, this is probably the game of the day here. One of the best games of the preseason so far, I think, the way these two teams are going, right? The Spurs, 3-0. They're averaging 121 points a game. They're beating teams on average by 13 points. So far coming in. Pacers, meanwhile, they've been solid offensively as well. 2-0 record, averaging 117 points per game. I think the Spurs have shown a little more defensive balance here thus far, but I think for me, I'm going to go with the over in this one. These two teams are playing pretty well. I imagine San Antonio still can be competitive in this game. Like I said, maybe their defense right now in the preseason has been a tad bit better, but man, closely rated game here. I'm going to go over here. We know we've seen plenty of points in the preseason so far. I don't have the breakdown yet, but they were at it again. Other than that Clippers game yesterday, and did have some overs with that Miami Orlando, Cleveland Boston went over, Milwaukee Chicago went over, the Warriors and the Lakers went over. It was just 4-3 to the over yesterday, but it seems like we're seeing a lot of points anyway. Give me the over with San Antonio and Indy here. glad you guys are making some picks with me on the NBA preseason. I don't think I'll be coming with any premiums, so this is probably the coverage for me anyway on the show here. Um, Although you know what, San Antonio and Indy, if you're going to do a premium, that might be a good game to do. And like I said, those teams are cooking. Spurs, you know what? I think that's what we're starting to see, Daryl. It's been a struggle, right? But they've bided their time here a little bit, and yeah, it might be playing a little bit conservative in the pre. No, I don't know about conservative, right? They're winning, but maybe talk about the regular season prospects of the Spurs. Maybe they're finally there a little bit, and see Mafia going over. I don't know if I'm supposed to show that picture, but I'm gonna. If YouTube didn't, oh, it's a boy. Okay, it's an anime. Okay, all right. Next up here, let's keep it rolling on Night Moves with our NBA preview, NBA preseason. Hey, where else are you gonna get it? I don't know if it's in depth, but I'm trying to break it down here a little bit for us. The Wizards are at the Knicks. Knicks are a 10-point favorite here, and total 220. The Wizards just one game, right? So far, I think one game so far, right? They lost by a point, but the Knicks are pretty sharp here, 3-0. Averaging over 9.5 points margin in those victories. And not only that, they've had one of the best defenses so far in the preseason, it feels like. So, look, Washington, I'm not saying, hey, we're in the preseason here. It really doesn't matter. But I think the Knicks might crush these guys, actually. They might win it by 15 points. Here it feels like in this one. Can Washington even, manage to get over into the high maybe 110 or something like that? I don't know if they can, the way this is going so far. So I think in this one with the Knicks a huge favorite here, they might be able to do it again. Man, go ahead and give me the Knicks here to win this one comfortably over Washington here. I would say Washington. If we see one of those overs, maybe they'll cover, but I think they're going to score 105 or less in this game. The Knicks, for some reason, they seem to be taking this pretty seriously right now defensively. And if that's the case against this Washington team, they're doomed. And like I said, Washington's had one game. The Knicks have had three. I think Washington's had one game. Kind of going off my brain here, which isn't always the best anymore, but as Daryl says, take the Wizards, though. They aren't as bad as I'm giving them credit for. I got you there. Maybe they can whittle it back down. Yeah, I'm not putting the Knicks. I mean, I'm not crowning them either. But right now, for some reason, the Knicks are taking these games pretty seriously. Okay, I'm going to handicap one for you. You come on, bring it. Bring it, Daryl. Let's talk about this one with the Guangzhou Long Lions taking on Minnesota. I'm going to try it. 38-point favorite, 218.5. We've seen Guangzhou twice against an NBA team, so I think we can actually gauge a little bit from Guangzhou here. It's still tough, right? 38. I guess Minnesota depends what they want to do or what they need to do here. And I probably won't even pick the spread, actually. But Guangzhou so far, they're averaging 91.5 points per game in those two games here on the mainland. Minnesota, 1-2, averaging 118 points per game, and a slight positive differential still. They won in a blowout and lost in close games so far. So, the defensive intensity, I can't tell you how it's going to be in this game. All I can tell you is that it's a huge mismatch in scoring ability. But at 218.5, I think what we've seen from Guangzhou is the other, the winning team here. They've had some big game, 140 we saw the other night, right? So I got to go over in this one with Guangzhou Long Lions and Minnesota Timberwolves in this one on Night Moves. And that one's a little tougher, but like I said, we've seen Guangzhou a little bit. And let's see here, Daryl, like that. Come on, Daryl, I'm on the next game. Where's your Guangzhou? And look, I like the CBA. I actually try to. I can get usually one game a night in the CBA, or we'll see what it's like this season. But and where the outlets are broadcast here, but usually you can get one game a night on US well, some of those streams, if you know what I mean. All right, Mavericks and Jazz are going to wrap it up here in this one. The Mavs a favorite 5 on the road, 233. And hey, I get it. Still the preseason here. And Trans talking about that Pagula match there last night. That was exciting. That was fun, wasn't it? Yesterday with that late night tennis. And what else did we had? It wasn't Pagula though, or unless was there today? Because Goff won. Goff won handily in that final Trans. By 3 or 4 games. I know I had Goff in that one, and I had bought Vachereau over Rindernesh yesterday. Okay, let's break it down here with this last one. The Mavericks here taking on Utah. Dallas is 1-1. They've been pretty efficient so far on both ends. I think even in the loss, Utah's 0-2, and they're giving up 137 points per game. I think they should match up with Guangzhou. One of the worst defenses so far. Utah doesn't look like they're ready for the regular season here at this point. I think the trends might favor a high-scoring game here in this one. I think the Mavs might be pretty easy to try to just take the Mavs here, maybe with an over the way it's going. But I actually think Utah, I'm worried about them scoring in this game. But for me, I'm going to go ahead and take Dallas, lay these points here. Like I said, Mavs giving up so many points. In fact, I might have just talked myself out of playing the under. At 233, it probably will go over. Give me Dallas in this one to close out the card here on Monday in NBA preseason. And thank you especially to Daryl. He likes the over in that last one, I think, with Dallas. And you're right. It should be a high score. I'm worried about Utah scoring. They look pretty bad here right now. All right, and I'm going to go here quickly to the CFL tonight. Take a look at the one game. I say tonight. It's Thanksgiving. The game is actually being played at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. So add this one to your afternoon leisure at your leisure here on Monday. With Montreal 14 point. I don't want to see a 2-touchdown favorite on Thanksgiving, but Ottawa's looking pretty bad right now, and I think they might get blowed out, if you know what I mean. I'm probably going to lay this. Let me look at some of the personnel here and just see if I can't talk myself out of it here. Look, Ottawa may be able to get some points, it feels like, here on the back end, but man, right now for the Montreal offense here with Alexander at quarterback. Look, Ottawa does defend the pass okay for a team with 4 wins. I'll give them that. And I think Snead is questionable in this game, and he's coming off that big game over Calgary last week. Now, I do think Ottawa, if they can run the ball, they can maybe cover this with Adebayo and, of course, Stanback in there. And Stanback, after missing that game, came back last game to have 11 carries, 39 yards, 2 receptions for 8 yards, but he missed the game against Winnipeg, remember. So I'm going to go ahead and lay it here with Montreal. I'm going to lay 14 points here on the Night Move show on Thanksgiving against Ottawa here. I think defensively, I think it's a bad matchup for the Red Blacks here, actually. And I would imagine with Tyson Philpott, had that big game against Saskatchewan, then came back with some strong games against Toronto and Calgary here. He'll probably be in a pretty good position to do some damage. So will Spiker here. He had a good game after missing a couple. And I'm going to go ahead and take Montreal and lay it on Thanksgiving. All right, and Trans likes it too. So if Trans likes them to blow them out, I'll take them to blow them out. We don't want to blow out on Thanksgiving, but I have a feeling that's just the way it's going to be. All right, well, I think I'm out of sports here on Night Moves. So I want to thank everyone for joining me here, and I'll be back tomorrow with more Night Moves sometime after 2 a.m. of Eastern time here, and we'll have more coverage for the action on Tuesday, including Major League Baseball. We'll also have NHL, NBA, and we're back we're in it. It's Tuesday. You know what that means. We've reached that time of year. We've got football on Tuesday. 3 games tomorrow. New Mexico State and Liberty, Arkansas State and South Alabama, FIU and Western Kentucky. So bring your non-group of 4 cleats, and we'll talk some college football tomorrow night as well for Tuesday. So, all right, enjoy the action here tonight, and be back with you tomorrow here on Night Moves. Want to thank the crew in the chat for sure, with Ron Young, with Daryl, and with TransCanada. Happy Thanksgiving, TransCanada. For Tony'sPicks.com, I'm Ramon Scott. So long.